Hello everyone, this is Minal Reddy. In this video lecture, I am going to discuss concept of unit commitment related to the economic load dispatch of power system operation and control. The contents of my lecture is the concept of unit commitment, then unit commitment problem, example of unit commitment, constraints that are considered in unit commitment, and lastly how the solution of unit commitment problem can be solved. Before starting the lecture, the outcome of this video lecture are at the end of this session learner will be able to describe concept of unit commitment, and later learner will be able to define unit commitment problem considering constraints. To understand this concept, the prerequisite required for the learner is concept of economic load dispatch related to the power system. So let us start the concept of unit commitment. So economic dispatch gives the optimum schedule corresponding to one particular load of the system. So this unit commitment is one of the part of that economic load dispatch. So the total load in a power system varies throughout the day and reaches different peak values from one day to another. In case of electric power system, the load on the system will generally be higher during the daytime and early evening when industrial loads are high, lights are on and so forth, and lower during the late evening and early morning when most of the population is asleep. Also, in addition, the use of electric power has a weekly cycle, the load being lower over the weekend days than the weekdays. So the different combination of generators are to be connected in the system to meet the varying load. But why this is a problem in the operation of an electric power system? Why not just simply commit enough units to cover the maximum system load and leave them running? So to commit means turn it on. So in case of generating units, to commit means turn it on. That is to bring the unit up to speed, synchronize it to the system and connect it so it can deliver power to the network. The problem with commit enough units and leave them on line is one of the economics. So we cannot simply turn it on and leave them online as it involves the economics. So when the load increases, the utility has to decide in advance the sequence in which the generator units are to be brought in. Similarly, when the load decreases, the operating engineer needs to know in advance the sequence in which the generating units are to be shut down. So this is why the unit commitment problem comes in picture. So the problem of defining the order in which the units are to be brought in and the order in which the units are to be shut down over a time period, says one day, so the total operating cost involved on that day is minimum, is known as the unit commitment problem. In another way, the unit commitment problem is defined as the scheduling of set of generating units to be on, off or in standby or banking mode for a given period of time to meet a certain objective. So for a power system, operated by a vertically integrated monopoly, as we know that committing units is performed centrally by a utility, and the objective is to minimize the cost subject to supplying all demand. And in a competitive environment, each generation company must decide which units to be committed so that profit is maximized. So based on the number of contracted megawatt, the additional megawatt hour is forecasted that it can profitably spot the market. So these are the objective, that is minimization of cost of supplying cost and maximization of profit while doing this unit commitment problem. So this image shows the flow chart of defining the unit commitment problem. So first step in that, forecasting of load of a particular area for a particular time so that it can draw a load duration curve. After that, the second step is to calculate the tentative price of given forecast to generate the electricity. Now next is the availability of number of generating units. So in that case, let us consider there are n number of generating units are available, and that in that particular area. So each cost of generating unit is first calculated. This cost is summed up at a particular level. So if let us consider we required some amount of megawatt, and that megawatt generation is fulfilled only by these two generator. Let us consider generator 1 and generator 2. So no need to turn on generator 3 and generator n. So this will calculated cost. This cost is provided to the constraint. The normally constraint considered are fuel cost, startup cost, shutdown cost, minimum up and minimum down, crew constraint, transmission limit, voltage, and etc. While considering these constraints, if this cost is minimum, then it is okay. Then only these two units will be turned on and other is turned off. If it is not minimum or it is not economical, then again we have to calculate for a tentative price by using another combination of generating units. So such a procedure is continued till we get a economical cost for the forecasted load. So in this way we can define the unit commitment problem. Now let us see here example. So I have this load duration curve of time versus load, and I have a 3 units, generating unit 1, 2, 3 with their minimum and maximum capacities in megawatt. So let us see here, this is the load duration curve. So at this time the load duration, so for this the maximum rating, maximum megawatt is considered for the unit commitment. So in that case, let us see here, if there is the 600 megawatt load. So for 600 megawatt load, I just have to turn on unit number 1 and unit number 2 and 3 must be turned off as it is not required. But at this, let us say 1000, at 1000 megawatt, we have this 600 megawatt is not sufficient. So I have to turn on another unit, that total load supplied must be 1000. So this 600 plus 400, I will get 1000 megawatt. So at that condition, up to 1000 megawatt, I have to turn on unit 1 and unit 2, but not unit 3. Similarly for here, but at that period, let us consider this 10 or 12 pm to 4 am, no requirement of unit number 2, so it should be shut down. So at 1200 megawatt, I have to turn all 3 units, as my total load is 1200. So at 600 plus 400 plus 200 is total gives the 1200 megawatt. So at that time, up to this time, we have to turn on all 3 units. At the middle, no requirement of unit number 2 and unit number 3, and again we required the unit number 2 and 3. So in this way, this unit commitment problem are defined of scheduling of set of generating units to be on, off or standby. Next, while considering this unit commitment problem, we have to consider some constraints of unit commitment. So let us see one by one the constraints of unit commitment. First is the spinning reserve. So the spinning reserve is the term used to describe the total amount of generation available from all units synchronized on the system minus the present load and losses being supplied. In simple way, it is the extra reserve for the system. So spinning reserve must be carried so that the loss of one or more units does not cause to far a drop in the system frequency. So quite simply, if one unit is lost, there must be ample reserve on the other units to make up for the loss in a simplified time period, that means at emergency period. So the spinning reserve must be allotted to obey certain rules. While deciding the spinning reserve, at how much megawatt should be considered for the spinning reserve. So basically, a typical rule specified that the spinning reserve must be capable of making up the loss of the most heavily loaded unit in a given period of time, and this is decided by reliability council of that particular region. The spinning reserve must be allotted among fast responding and slow responding units. Also, beyond the spinning reserve concept classifies for the commitment problem such as scheduled reserve or offline. The quick start gas and diesel turbine units as well as most hydro units and pump storage units can be counted in the overall reserve assessment as long as their time to come up to full capacity is taken into account. The next constraint is the thermal unit constraint. This thermal unit constraint is normally related to thermal power plant, as the thermal unit can undergo only gradual temperature changes, and this translates into a time period of some hours required to bring the unit online. So due to this gradual change in temperature, the various constraints arises in thermal unit operation, such as first is the minimum uptime. So once the unit is running, it should not be turned off immediately. So it gives minimum uptime. Second is the minimum downtime. Once the unit is decommitted, there is minimum time before it can be recommitted. So we cannot suddenly decommit and recommit. There should be some time lapse. Third is the crew constraints. So if the plant consists of 2 or more units, they cannot both be turned on at the same time since enough crew staff members are not available to attend both units while starting up. So what do you mean by screw? So screw is the group of person involved in a particular kind of work. So we cannot turn on all units at the same time due to screw constraints. Next is the startup cost. The temperature and pressure of the thermal unit must be moved slowly. A certain amount of energy must be expended to bring the unit online. So this energy does not result in any megawatt generation from the unit as it brought into the unit commitment problem as a startup cost. So the startup cost can vary from maximum cold start value to much smaller value if the unit was only turned off recently and is still relatively close to operating temperature. So this startup cost constraint is divided into two type of cost or two type of conditions, when it is totally cooled and when it is operating or relatively close to operating temperature, that means banking. So let us see first cooling. So all the units boiler to cool down and then heat back up to the operating temperature. The time for schedule turn on. So the cost involved in that condition is different as compared to banking. So this startup cost can be calculated using the formula Cc in bracket 1 minus e raised to minus t upon alpha into F into Cf. So Cc is the cold start cost, F is the fuel cost, Cf is the fixed cost, alpha is the thermal time constant of the unit, and T is the time the unit was cooled. By using this formula you can calculate the startup cost when it is cooling condition. Then in case of banking, sufficient energy is inputted to the boiler to just maintain the operating temperature. So it is not totally cooled or it is not on, but it have some energy input to the boiler. So the startup cost of banking, so here should be a banking, can be calculated Ct into T into F plus Cf. Again Ct is the cost of maintaining unit at operating temperature, F is the fuel cost, T is the time, and so on. So if you see this diagram of time versus startup cost in case of banking and cooling, so it is observed that up to a certain period or hours the cost of banking may be less than that of cost of cooling. So banking is may be efficient while considering the constraints. Now next constraint is hydro constraints. So unit commitment cannot be completely separated from scheduling of hydro units, as we know that it not involves much startup cost. But if we not consider or if we neglect the hydro constraint, we will not get accurate result of optimal solution. So we have to consider this constraint of hydropower plant. Next is the must run concept. So some units are given a must run status during certain time of the year for a reason of a voltage support on the transmission network or for such purpose as supply of steam for uses outside the steam plant itself. So some power plants or some unit must be run continuously. Next constraint or last constraint is the fuel constraint. A system in which some units have limited fuel or else have constraints that require them burn a specific amount of fuel in a given time, the presents a most challenging unit commitment problem is the fuel constraint. So all these constraints we have to consider while defining the unit commitment problem. So the solution of this unit commitment problem, so there are a number of methods to use to solve this unit commitment problem or scheduling of number of sets of generating units. So one of them is the priority list, second is the dynamic programming, and Lagrange's relation. So in the next video lecture we will discuss in detail these methods of solution of unit commitment problem. Thank you.